Yeah.
Chip, do you have any updates on any of the guys who went down yesterday?
Yeah, nothing specific in terms of times. The only two guys that were concerned with missing any time is Aaron Lynch has a high ankle sprain, and then Rashad has an MCL sprain. So, but there hasn't been a timetable put on those guys yet. So we won't know. Obviously, we're not playing this week, and see how the rehab goes and all that in terms of their availability for the Saints game. But those are the only two right now that are a concern going past this week. So
There was a report after the game that Joe Staley is on the trade market. Can you say one way or the other whether that's...
Yeah, that's news to me. We haven't had, no one's ever talked any discussions with me about Joe being traded. We need Joe here.
Coach, over the weekend, the Oregonian had an article speculating that if there were an opening at Oregon, you might go back to it. Would you? Head coaching?
No, I'm the head coach of the San Francisco 49ers, so I'm not looking at anything else.
Past this season, you would stay here?
Yeah, I'm here.
Have you heard from any schools?
Nope.
What are your plans for the bye week? What do you guys do as a staff to try to get this thing going?
We got a lot of self-scout that we have, set aside. We've already talked about it. Had it planned in the summertime of what our schedule will be. So we'll be in here all week, kind of looking at what we've done, in the first 7 games. What have our opponents done to us in the first 7 games relative to what we thought going into the game based on the breakdowns? If they changed, if they were 60% pressure going into our game, and they were only 30% pressure on our game, trying to delve into how people are defending us. How are we, people attacking us from an offensive standpoint in terms of attacking our defense and what their tendencies were going into the game, and then what actually transpired in the game. So we got a lot of homework and a lot of studying to do here during this week.
Is that Monday through Friday?
Yeah, Monday through Friday.
I know you try to stay even keeled, but do you ever have private moments of anguish over this losing streak?
No one's happy, so I don't know if the word's anguish, but I mean, obviously you try to keep it consistent in terms of your approach to everything that you do, but no, I don't think being consistent and being even keeled means that it doesn't bother you or that you're not frustrated in terms of what's gone on. So, yeah, I have those feelings that's what you mean by anguish.
You're on the cutting edge of nutrition and sleep. Have you considered bringing in sports psychologists to work with your players and you and the staff on dealing with the losing streak instead of hangover things during the bye week?
No, I mean, we have people that are available to us that our players use on a regular basis through our player engagement program for a myriad of reasons, whether it be personal or sports related. So we have that available to our players in terms of them if they need to talk to somebody outside of the football staff or outside of even player engagement. I think some of the things that they've done in our player engagement with the outreach with former players that have been through this before, sometimes that's very helpful to them. But that's all done through player engagement through Keena Turner and Paris Harrelson and that group. So.
Aside from a few drops each of the last couple of games, what are your thoughts on Colin's accuracy?
It's been up and down. I think some of it's our protection issues. Are we be able to get to our spot, get to the proper drop, and then get the ball off at the proper time? But it's, again, and I know I've said this before, but it's not one set thing where it's if Colin, just is a little bit more accurate, we're okay. I think it's a combination of the route we're running, the protection that we're giving him, and then giving the time that he is to throw it. So I thought he's been okay so far. We can be a little bit better, so the run after the catch is a little bit better. But again, on each end, I'd have to talk about each end of specific throw to say, hey, where were we on that one, or where were we on that one?
Is it fair to say that you've been impressed enough with his running ability that he's your guy going forward, coming back from the bye?
Yeah, we'll go through everything, but I don't envision making any changes at the quarterback spot.
Chip, based on what you said about Staley, it sounds like you would be opposed to him being traded.
Well, I'm not in charge of the overall roster, so I'm not. I'll give my weigh in on where everybody is. But my point to that thing is that we've never had a conversation about that, and we talk about everything on a daily basis, but that's never come up. So, and I understand how it comes up because we're 1-6, and Joe's a veteran player, but that doesn't matter where you are. That's going to be speculation, no matter what team you are and where you are, who your older players, and just it's kind of the nature of the sport we play.
Is this something that you had to address with Joe today after the report?
No, I did not talk to Joe specifically about it. So I don't make it a habit of talking to our guys about erroneous reports. So so from what I understand, I don't know any information on that. So
It seemed like you got a nice boost from Juwan Harris at times in the game. Is he somebody that you'd like to keep up on the active?
I think he did a really good job yesterday. There's probably about 2 runs he wants back. But I think overall, for his first extended playing time, I think everybody on the offensive side of the staff, as we met today and talked about it, were impressed with him. I also think Darius felt good with him on special teams. So I think he's playing himself into a role in our offense.
Coach, do you have enough talented players on your roster to compete in this league?
Yeah, we do. We do.
And why has the coaching staff not brought out that talent and won more games?
That's on us. You know, I agree 100% in terms of what you're saying, but our job is to put our players in position to make plays, and we're not doing a good enough job of that right now.
To stay with that topic, I noticed in the game yesterday they really ran against you well, and on a lot of the running plays, their offensive linemen were pushing 91 and 99 just out of the way and creating big gaps. Is there anything you can do in the future to improve those two guys or help them or do something different?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of different things you can do. Some of those things when you occur, and if you're watching the game from the side and you're watching, are they getting double team? If they're getting double team, are we doing a good enough job of filling the gaps to peel the double team off of them to make sure that it's a single block on those guys? So there's a lot of fits that we can get from our linebackers or from the secondary that we can do to help those guys in those situations.
Why give the team the week off? I mean, I don't know what the rules are, but I don't think you need to give them a full week off.
That's what we've always done wherever I've been in the league. You know, I think we've played 7 games. They've been at it since July 31st. I haven't had more than 1 day off in a row. So I think at this point in time, that's what our whole MO has always been. We're going to bring them in on Monday. We're going to watch the game. We're going to put the game to bed. They'll meet with our strength and conditioning coaches. They have their lifting programs in terms of what they can do and what they have to do. And I think at this point in time, we need to heal up. You know, we got 2 guys, as I talked about, in Aaron and Richard, that we're not sure about long term. But there's some other guys that have played through a lot of issues so far and have continued to play and stay in games. But I think it's a good break for them to do what they need to do, and that's the way I've always done. And our teams have been fresh coming out of the bye week. So.
Why didn't Tank Carradine play this week on defense?
Just the rotation that those guys had going. I think they felt really comfortable with what Eli, Aaron's reps were up a little bit. Excuse me. Coming back, I think he's got a little bit more wind in him in terms of where he are. I thought we felt Brooksy was playing really well. So they try to keep Aaron in the game as much as they can. So it was just a rotation. And Tarv's in charge of those guys on game day in terms of the rotation that we got going at the outside linebacker spot.
So it wasn't a disciplinary thing?
No.
You didn't mention Eric Armstead in the injury. Is he fine?
Yeah, from what I talked to Ferg, I just literally we were over there, and the 2 guys that we talked about were Eli and Aaron Lynch and Richard. But there was nothing long term in terms of specifics that people past this week. So
He mentioned, I think, before the first game that it was something that might have to get fixed after the season. Has there been any talk about cutting him
no,
short?
you're the only one who's asked that question to me before, and that's the extent of it. But I've never gotten anything from our training staff about that. So.
What about Glenn Dorsey?
Dorsey just couldn't go. He felt later in the week, he felt like his leg was bothering him a little bit. Tried to see what he could do on Sunday morning and couldn't go. And I think Dorsey also knows as a professional, we can't have a guy up when you only have 46 guys up on game day that can only go for a couple plays in the first quarter. Then we're depleted a little bit from a line standpoint. So felt like he couldn't give everything he had to give at that point in time. So really his call with Ferg in terms of that he couldn't go and couldn't give us everything he could yesterday. So we're hoping this time off we'll give him an opportunity when we come back for the Saints game.
The expected, kind of stop and start that you would get from somebody who's coming back from an ACL?
Again, every ACL I've ever dealt with in my career, and I'm not a doctor or anything, has all been different. So I don't think you can put, hey, this ACL's like that. Adrian Peterson came back after whatever and started and played really well with it. Other guys, it's taken a little bit longer, but there's more than, when you look at each individual player, it could be more than that. Did they have meniscus with us? Was there a bone bruise in it? I don't know the exact specifics of that. So what I've learned with ACLs is you take them all as an individual, and you just can't say, hey, this is the concrete, it's this, so it becomes this amount of time. So.
A young defensive lineman, do you miss his veteran presence, somebody who's been there?
I think you do. I mean, I know he's the leader of that group. It is a young group, but I think that they voted him the leader of that position. So I feel like he adds some leadership from that, and if him not being out there to provide that for him, I think it would help the young guys. But again, one thing with Dorsey is he's going to tell you what he can do and what he can't do, and he's not going to fake it. So.
Chip, I know you've been asked through the years a fair amount about the no-huddle offense and its possible effects on fatiguing the defense. This year you guys rank 31st in the NFL in plays per drive. I don't think you were near that anytime in Philadelphia. I mean, do you have to reconsider the pace or the tempo? I know you said.
Yeah, I don't think we're not. I mean, we had the conversation last week. We're not playing with pace and tempo right now, so.
You're playing with more pace than most teams. You know, what are the benefits of the no huddle if you can?
I guess I disagree with that point. I don't think we're playing fast right now. So if someone said, "How are you playing offensively?" I don't think we're playing fast offensively. I think we're just not going back. We're saving 7 yards of run time for our offensive line because they don't have to run back in a huddle, get a play called, and then do it. We're just calling it at the line of scrimmage. So I think it's a lot of what Denver used to do when Peyton was there. But we're not. You know, there's a lot of times that we're under 15 seconds when we're snapping the ball and getting the playoffs. So that part of it is we're not playing fast. We're not calling tempo type plays in those situations. We're just calling plays. So.
You said you slowed it down this year, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Is that a reflection of the offense not staying on the field?
No, I don't. Is that I'm confused.
The offense isn't staying on the field.
Yeah, because we're not converting on third down.
Right.
So I don't think that's because we slowed it down. I don't think.
No, I'm not saying that there's a correlation there. I'm asking, have you slowed the pace down because you're not staying on the field? And it doesn't make
No,
sense.
I think that's what fits with this group of guys we have on the offensive side of the ball.
Couple more. Chip, after looking at the tape, did you see anything improvement-wise from Colin from just his first start to the second? Specific things maybe that you picked up on?
Yeah, I think there was some improvement there. You know, I think the amount of third downs we gained just, you know, with him in there, I think he did a good job early in the game. They tried to play a lot of man coverage, you know, and I think part of Colin's ability to escape on third down kind of took them out of some man coverage situations because of you have to defend the quarterback. You know, when everybody has their back turned to the quarterback, they can't see when he takes off and goes. So, but I saw an improvement from the Bills game to this game. You know, we hope we can continue to grow and build upon that. You know, that's part of what we have to do with him as a player. We see if we can get incrementally better as the weeks go on. But I think there was improvement from the Bills game to this game.
When you have a guy who didn't play for as long as he did, went as long as he did between starts, is there an adjustment period for him in terms of just being able to read defenses again or what he's looking at? Do you expect that, especially?
I think so. I think with anybody, you know, when you get up to playing full speed in the National Football League, I think the speed of the game, when you talk to any rookie coming in the league, what's the first thing? It's the speed of the game, you know, and just trying to capture the speed of the game back. Colin has a lot to recall because he's got extensive playing experience in this league, but it's still not something that it's like that. It's you got to get back into it, and it's not replicated in practice. You know, again, we talk about it. We've talked about it here before. The quarterback's not live in practice, so he's a lot more comfortable in the pocket in practice just because those guys aren't going to hit him. They're going to stay. You know, everybody talk about stay away from the quarterback. We don't want anybody, you know, hitting the quarterback in a practice situation. Obviously, just like everybody else in the league. So there is a change from the speed of the game as you get into games, and I think with the more experience he gets, understanding who his receivers are, understanding who's protecting them, understanding where he can escape in protection. You know, the little teeny things that, you know, it's not going to be something that you just pick up like that and jump back on the bike and just start riding again. It's something that the experience is you know, hopefully you're better from the experiences that you're getting of taking those valuable snaps that he's getting right now.
Second fumble, was that his responsibility to recognize that?
We had a protection issue. Should have checked inside and then gone outside. The inside guys didn't come, and we should have fanned out and picked them up in protection. Thanks.